I'm Alexandra, welcome to my channel and to this video. A sit-down video. First time I've done this in a very long time because we're expecting. At the point when I'm uploading this video, I've probably done an announcement or something of that kind on the channel, so I'm not gonna go much into like the surprise thing. But yeah, right now as I'm filming this, it's actually Christmas Day and I am on, let's see, I'm gonna have to consult my phone a lot because my head is not wanting to keep information. I am 6 weeks and 4 days. So in week 7, we've known for a couple of weeks and I just thought that I wanted to sit down and talk about how we got here and symptoms and stuff so far. But like I said, I'm not gonna upload this just yet, so I'll probably like put together several videos, I'm guessing, of me doing updates, and then I'll upload that video. Well, doesn't matter right now because you're seeing that video now. So yeah, okay, how we got here. Well, we have 3 kids. To get all of them, we've had to do fertility treatments, IVF, and fertility treatments with shots. And this time around, we just they've changed the policies around in Sweden. So IVF has always been pretty expensive. I think it is everywhere. But also the just normal fertility treatment with shots have gotten a lot more expensive. So we've kind of felt like we can't really afford doing that because we don't know for how long we would have to do it, since it sometimes, well, it has taken me a long time to get pregnant before. So we were kind of debating whether we should save up and start doing that, but also that would take a lot of time because you have to do ultrasounds a couple of times a week, and it's in the city in Stockholm, and we're quite far away from there now. So it was just kind of logistics and money wise, we felt like maybe we won't have a 4th, you know. And then I went to my gynecologist for another reason really. I had a very heavy bleeding a few months ago and I went to her to see if something was wrong, you know. And I also told her that we wanted to conceive, but all of these money issues kind of. And she was like, well, I can prescribe letrozole, which are pills instead of shots. So you don't have as much control over what's going on and you don't do ultrasounds on the way. So you don't really know what's happening inside your body, but it's at least something, and they are super cheap compared to the shots. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it then, I guess. And she said to take 1 pill a day the first cycle, and then if I don't ovulate, then I can take 2 pills the next cycle and 3 the next cycle. And she said, if you're not pregnant by that point, just come back to me. And I was like, okay, because it was kind of shocking in a way, because we had started to just kind of feel resigned, I think, and just trying naturally. But since I don't ovulate naturally very often, it just felt like not really trying. We've actually haven't been using protection at all since Myranda was born, and you know, there's never been a pregnancy scare or anything like that. So anyway, that was surprising. And yeah, so I started taking letrozole. I didn't think that I would ovulate. I actually have taken pills before, not letrozole. I took Pergotime back in the day, way before my first kid, and I didn't ovulate at all on those, and I took those for 3 or 4 cycles. So I was like, well, we'll see about this, but it couldn't hurt to try, you know. And then, yeah, I didn't think that I ovulated, but my period didn't come. And of course, if I didn't ovulate, then my period wouldn't have come, because my period is very far apart. It can be like 6 months or even more. So I just assumed that it didn't work, but I really wanted to get to the next cycle. I didn't want to just walk around waiting for a natural cycle to restart. So I wanted to start taking my pills that induce a bleeding. But before you can take those, you have to take a pregnancy test just to make sure that you're not pregnant. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll take this test. I just want to start with a Provera, which is the pills that induce a new cycle. So I peed on the stick. I went and did other stuff for a few minutes. I came back and the test was quite clearly positive. And I was so surprised. But it wasn't like a very faint ghost line or anything, so I couldn't tell myself that I was imagining it. But I also, the first couple of hours, couldn't like believe that it was real. I was like, this has to do something with the hormones. It has to be some kind of mistake, you know. But as the hours went on and I started thinking and I started feeling, I was like, yeah, maybe this is for real. So that's how we got here. It seems it feels very, very odd that we actually, it was the first try, really, since I don't ovulate normally, so, or naturally. So I count this as the first try. And yeah, it's still kind of shocking to me because I've always been kind of definitely jealous and a bit like mad at people who can just be like, oh, I want to have a baby in summer, so we're gonna try now, and then they get pregnant all of a sudden. And yeah, just planning pregnancies obviously hasn't ever been a thing for us. I mean, planning as in when, timing, hasn't been a thing. We've just been hoping and hoping that we would get pregnant at all. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm so nervous that the kids are gonna hear anything, even though I don't think they understand because we haven't told them yet. I want to wait for the ultrasound at week 9, I think. I have an ultrasound booked. After that, if everything looks good, then we'll tell people and probably upload this video. But anyway, I've been talking for 7 minutes already. Let's get into the next thing I had written down, which was symptoms, of course. This is tricky, but the first symptom that I had even before I knew, and I didn't think of it as a symptom at all, was sort of, I don't want to say that it's full-on carpal tunnel, but I definitely have gotten a lot of, like, not pain, but numbness and trying to find the words in English, like feelings of like needle pricks, kind of when your hand falls asleep. You get those like pain needle feelings when it wakes back up or whatever. I get that quite often now, especially in the mornings, and that's something that I definitely, for me, I think of carpal tunnel because I had that when I think Myranda was newborn. So I don't know if it has anything to do with this or if it's just unrelated and something that has started again. But yeah, so that's the first thing I wrote down. Put them in order of when I started having them, you know. The next one is cramps. I had a lot of cramps. I think the day that I took the test, or maybe the day after, I started having cramps. No, it was the same day, because I was super worried that evening that I was gonna like start bleeding, and the test was just kind of that I had a super early miscarriage, you know. And then I have had cramps for maybe 3 or 4 days afterwards, and then just tiny instances of it after that. But I've had that with all of my pregnancies, so even though I get worried, of course, because you always do, and I've had 3 miscarriages as well, so it's a constant worry. I tried to tell myself when I had them really bad that it was just the uterus stretching and getting used to everything, and like it was a good thing, and hopefully it was. The next symptom is nausea. I remember thinking a few days after I had the positive test, I remember thinking, oh, I hope the nausea doesn't come until after Christmas. I really hope that I can enjoy Christmas. Nope. Exactly 1 week before Christmas Eve, so 8 days ago, I guess, at 5 + 3, according to my, like when I think I ovulated, I started having nausea, and that's pretty early for me. The first day I thought I was imagining it, and then the next day I was like, no, this is not my imagination, this is for real. But yeah, with the last 2 at least that I recorded when the nausea started, it started at the beginning of week 6 or week 7, I guess, 6 + 2 and 6 + 3, and now it started at 5 + 3. So either this one's just different, which is of course normal, or maybe I am miscalculating the ovulation date, because obviously I with all my other pregnancies, I've been able to know exactly, kind of almost to the hour when I ovulated because I took an ovulation shot. This time, since I only did the pills and I never did an ultrasound, nothing, I have no idea. I'm just going off of one day that I had kind of cramping. And I wrote that down. And so I thought that's probably the ovulation day. But who knows? Maybe I'm like counting a week behind or something. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see on the ultrasound. I don't know if they're gonna measure and do that stuff. I don't actually know, or if they're just going to look for a heartbeat, but we'll see. Anyway, the nausea is real. I have pills that I have left over from the other pregnancies that are for nausea, but I've taken them a few days and I don't think they make a big difference, really. It's just, with my other ones, I've been kind of constantly nauseous for maybe 10 to 15 weeks, but I have never thrown up. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the case this time too. And so far it has. The next one is fatigue. I started noticing it just before I went on Christmas break, because we're all at home right now. So maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, a few days ago, I started realizing how tired I was. I sat at work and I was like, I have to stand up or I'm gonna fall asleep sitting down on this chair right now. So that's here too, fun. And the last one is vivid dreams, or just remembering my dreams, really. That started too, and that's something that I've had. I think all of these I've had with all of the pregnancies, except carpal tunnel. That started after I had Myranda. But like I said, I don't know if that's even like related. But yeah, those are the symptoms. And then I had some few things that I wanted to bring up. And that is the age gap. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I wanted to just bring it up, mostly for myself when I look back on these videos. The age gap, I mean, between this little one and my youngest child, Myranda. She is going to be just over 4 years old. She's gonna turn 4 years old a few weeks before this due date that I have now. And that's the longest age gap so far between my kids. Tyrion was, I think, 3 years and like 8 months when Theo was born, and then when Myranda was born, Theo was, let's see, 2 years and 2.5 years, maybe? Yeah, about 2.5 years old. So 4 years is definitely gonna be the biggest gap yet. Not by choice. Like I said, we've never really used protection. I wanted another one kind of right away after Myranda. Michael didn't. He took some more time to kind of get used to the idea of a fourth, but I did. So not really by choice, but I think it's mostly going to be a positive thing. I remember it being really hard having Myranda and also having Theo, who was really small at that point. I think we had just gotten him out of diapers, or maybe he was even wearing diapers still. And just generally having kids that can do more by themselves, that can understand a bit more the whole thing about like mom stuck to this chair for another hour to get the baby to nurse and then sleep, I think it's going to be easier. So I think it's mostly a good thing. The other thing though that's kind of connected to this, and that is giving me some anxiety, even though I'm trying to push it away, is my age. This is obviously the oldest I've ever been. That's such a stupid statement, but I mean, there's kind of this magical line I feel like everyone talks about. At 35, your fertility drops and the risks of, risks of complications in pregnancy and in birth and everything just goes skyrockets. That's what it feels like. I don't think it's that. I think it's more gradual. But anyway, I turned 35 this summer, and that kind of felt like this magical point where I should have gotten pregnant before that. And like I said, I'm trying to kind of not think about it too much, because either way there's not much I can do about it. I am this age, and I know that a lot of women have like their first kids at this age, and it's fine. So hopefully everything will be fine, but it is something that I'm thinking about that I didn't really pay attention to with the other ones, because I was so much younger, you know. I had written that down as a worry, and I have 2 more things on that list. One thing is my weight, and that is because I weigh significantly more than I did when I got pregnant with the other ones, about 10 kilos more. And that is This is gonna sound strange, but to me, that has been kind of a good thing. It's been a good journey for the past 2.5 years or something like that. I really tried to let go of all the like stress and guilt and all of that stuff surrounding food. I was going to say intermittent fasting, but that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about intuitive eating is something that I've paid a lot of attention to, and just trying to listen to my body and not have so much guilt around certain foods. I eat what I want to eat, basically, and that has made me gain weight, but it has made me so much happier mentally. It's such a difference. So it's a good thing for my mental health, but now that I'm pregnant and thinking about like making sure that this baby is gonna grow in a healthy way and everything, and delivery and all that stuff obviously that also can get harder if you're heavier, that's a bit of a worry for me, but I'm just gonna try and stay active. I don't really work out. I haven't done that since Myranda was a baby, but I do like get a lot of everyday exercise, you know, a lot of walking and stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep doing that, of course, and just try and pay attention to what I eat while also honoring, what's it called? Honoring my hunger and not going back into that cycle of like feeling bad over what I have eaten, because I don't want to get back into that. Yeah, that's the other worry. And the last worry is something that's a bit further ahead, and that is isolation on parent leave. Anyway, I worry that I'm gonna get isolated because we live further away from everything, and I don't have a driver's license, and the buses they leave here like 3 times a day, so I am quite isolated as it is. So that's definitely a worry, and something we're gonna keep thinking about. I have started toying with the idea of getting a driver's license, but it's something that I am terrified of and always have been, and I've always been kind of against cars. I don't want to have a car, so it's very, very early stages, and I might just be like, no, it's not worth it. I'm not gonna even try. We'll see. But that is the update for this time, the 7-week update, I guess, and I'm assuming that I'm gonna just put the next update after this one. So bye for now, and I'll see you in a bit, or just a second, I guess. I'm back, and this was actually not the clip that was supposed to be in the video right here. I filmed a video a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, like an update video, and now when I go to edit it, I cannot find that clip anywhere. So I'm gonna try and go back to remember what I talked about then, and just update you on what's been happening for the past like 6-ish weeks, because I am in my 13th week of pregnancy now. I feel like it sounds so much like more to say that I'm in my 4th month of pregnancy. For some reason, to me that sounds just like I'm further along, even though I'm not. But yeah, I'm in the 13th week now. I have seen the baby twice. So the first time, I think I talked about in the last video that I had an appointment, or like the last clip, that I had an appointment booked, and so I went in at 9-ish weeks. I can't remember everything exactly, but yeah, I went in for an ultrasound at 9 weeks, and we saw a heartbeat. But as I also think that I talked about before, I thought that maybe I was measuring behind, that I was actually further along than I thought that I was. If that makes any sense. And at the ultrasound it actually turned out the other way around, which is strange to me. She measured me at like a week behind what I thought, which would mean that I ovulated like 5 or 6 days after the last time we tried, I guess. You know, so that seems unlikely, but I mean, if it is what it is. That worried me a bit, that it was measuring so small, and I think she definitely noticed. So the doctor said that I could call in and book an appointment for like another couple of weeks or 3 weeks ahead. So I did that, and I went in at the end of week 11, I think, and it was a bit stressful, because usually when you go for an ultrasound, and especially if the person doing it knows that you're worried, they typically just tell you the second they can see a heartbeat. They try to find a heartbeat right away, and they tell you right away to make sure you, like, to calm you. And maybe it was just seconds, but it felt like such a long time that she was just looking at the screen and like moving the wand around. And I started panicking, of course, and I was like, okay, this is over. And then all of a sudden, the fetus started doing this with like both arms and legs. I think it looked so strange because obviously it was still so small that it's not like human-like, but I could still see like the limbs moving around, and so I kind of teared up a bit, and I was like, oh gosh, oh thank goodness. And then of course she found the heartbeat, and that was it. I asked her if she could measure just to see that it was still like, that it was still measuring the week that she had said, and she said like, oh, with a vaginal ultrasound you can't measure for weeks. And I was like, but we did a vaginal ultrasound last time, but I didn't want to like question her, so maybe she just meant that when you're this far along, it can't be reliable maybe, unless you do the ultrasound on your stomach, you know. So yeah, very strange. But that was a big relief, and having done that ultrasound, I felt like calm enough and safe enough to actually tell the kids. So that video went up last week. We've been talking about it a lot. The kids bring it up a lot, of course, and especially Myranda, she keeps saying, is there a baby in your belly today? And I was like, every time I'm like, yeah, it's in there right now. And that's been a lot of fun. What else? Well, symptoms, I guess. I still have nausea, but I think, I kind of don't even want to say it out loud, but I think that it's starting to go away now. With the other kids, I think I've had nausea up until like week 17, 18 or so. So I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like it hasn't been as bad this pregnancy as it has with the others. And I don't know if that's just me being able to cope with it better because I've been through it before, or because I'm just too busy to pay much attention to it or whatever. But yeah, I feel like it hasn't been, I can't speak. It hasn't been as debilitating as I remember it being with the other kids, you know. But yeah, it's still hanging around, but a bit better, I think. Headaches, I still have headaches pretty much almost every day, especially in the afternoon and evening time. And sometimes I take a pill for it and sometimes I don't, because I just feel like I can't be taking pills every day. That can't be good. But yeah, so headaches still, yes. I don't go to the bathroom as often in the night now. For a while there, I had to get up at least once every night to go to the bathroom, and then I had a really hard time falling back to sleep. That only happens sometimes now, and I think I read somewhere that because the uterus is kind of getting bigger and moving out of the pelvis area and more into the stomach, I guess, it's not pushing on the bladder as much, so that makes sense. What else? Heartburn is for me kind of connected to the nausea, at least right now. Sometimes I don't really know which is which, but yeah, I'm starting to have some heartburn, but not the really bad kind that I remember from the other ones, so I guess that's up ahead probably. The tiredness I think has gotten a bit better too. I still fall asleep pretty much every afternoon when I get home from work. Fall asleep on the couch and then wake up when Michael's done with dinner. But I think it's gotten a bit better. A few weeks ago I felt like I could sleep the entire night and the entire day and I wouldn't have felt rested anyway, and I don't really feel that way anymore, so that's good. And I think it's just kind of typical. The second trimester is usually the easiest part, I guess, of pregnancy, so I'm just gonna be grateful for whatever symptoms ease up or whatever symptoms I don't have yet. I'm also definitely getting kind of a belly now. Yesterday at work, my closest coworker, she was like, you can tell now, you can see now that you have a belly. And then just maybe an hour later, another coworker of mine that I have been talking about the pregnancy with, she just kind of passed by and jokingly said, Alexandra, pull your tummy in, or like, what's it called? Like, suck your tummy in. So she definitely noticed too. And so I'm probably gonna have to start telling the kids at work soon, or not like telling, but if they ask me outright I won't lie to them, which means that I'm also going to have to start telling the parents. And I think it's got to be, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be happy for me, but it's just kind of an awkward thing, I guess. I don't know. It's awkward somehow. The last time when I was pregnant with Myranda, I actually had, I think, 3 or 4 moms like in my kid group at work who were also pregnant, so we were pregnant together, which was kind of fun. This time, as far as I know, I'm the only one. But yeah, I don't know. I need to check my phone and see if there was anything else that I talked about last time that I've written down since then. Oh, the carpal tunnel thing pretty much went away. Maybe a week or 2 after I filmed that video. So fingers crossed it doesn't come back. Now there is a fly flying around just behind the camera. I hope it's not bothersome, the noise from it. I haven't had any cramps since like the first week or so after I found out, so no cramps. Oh, I have to eat very often, and that's nothing new to me. That's very typical for pregnancy for me, and I think for a lot of people. I noticed that even though I don't have to eat more, because you don't really in pregnancy, at least not a lot more, I have to eat often. If I haven't eaten in like an hour or an hour and a half, I get a lot more nauseous and my stomach starts rumbling as if I haven't eaten all day, and I need to make sure that I eat often to feel my best, you know. And I try to. Yeah, I think that's all that I can think of now. I'm gonna do kind of what I did with Myranda, where I just posted whenever I felt like I had something to say, I guess. So that's my plan for this time also. Yeah, thank you for watching.
Bye.